Welcome to City Talk. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy. I'm so excited. Tabnie is back on set. You are styling it. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I had to tell her how gorgeous she looked.
Thank you.
I haven't seen you in probably a month.
At least.
And we'll talk about what you've been up to in just a second. I just got excited, guys. We keep it real here. We are Dream Pilot Films in Sparks, Nevada. Love our new set. And this is our 11th show. So we hit 10. It's 11.
Double digits.
It's double digits. So we're really excited, but it's thanks to you guys that we hit double digits. So we're excited about that. The show today, guys, you don't want to leave at all. This is all about the Reno Air Races. Like, this is a huge deal, just so you know. A big deal.
A staple.
The whole show. We're dedicating the whole show. And who's going to be on set with us today?
Oh, we have Mr. Tony Logoteta coming in. Looking forward to talking to him. The history, the past, the present,
and all that.
Yes.
It's so cool. We're so excited about that. And I've been hoping for this for probably 6 months. I've been, saying we have to have the air races. I have been going to them. Well, probably for my sons are in their 30s. We probably started going when I first moved here. We used to live out by Stead.
How convenient.
So we would see the plane. I want to say probably 20 years. I have not made it every show, but I have lots of memories with my kids. And also I used to take my dad, Papa Tony, there. So it's pretty exciting. Anyway, that is what our show's about. So we want you to hang in and hang tight and fly high with us. It's all about that. And before we go into one more little thing, I had a faux pas. What's that word today? Faux pas?
Yeah.
So I go to Caliber. We'll give the shout out for them now. We might as well take care of that. Yeah. See the back, my little thing. See the back? So Caliber, Macon does my hair. And when I got there, I noticed that, on the little post behind what are they called? The little post? All of a sudden, these are like nice earrings. I normally don't have nice earrings. And the post, I'm like, I'm missing a post. What am I going to do? So I text Georgia, bring me a post. She doesn't check her phone. So I Googled, I asked Siri, what do you do for an emergency when you lose your post? And the hack was use a gummy bear. I was going to do that, but I didn't have one. Or take the top of a pencil eraser. Oh, you knew that?
Of course.
I do. I was so excited.
A mechanical pencil.
I did not know. I didn't know that.
It's a great tip because it's happened to me too, being on air. And you don't want to have one earring, but you and me are the same. So we don't want to be without some
didn't want to. And I'm like, anyway. So I want you to show you that we are human.
No, and you just blessed some ladies, I'm sure, with this tip.
Oh yeah, I know. Anyway, so that's the most excitement for me this week is panicking about my earring.
Yes.
So,
well, for me, gosh, we're after Labor Day, so we wrapped up Northern Nevada's inaugural Black Business Month celebration. A lot of people don't know that August is National Black Business Month, and so Tabnie Dozier Enterprises, Yelp, Shades of Queening, and NEPCIS, Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society. So 2 nonprofits and myself teamed up with Yelp to bring 5 free events to the community to get to meet more Black entrepreneurs and start to add whether they're brick or mortars or if they're e-commerce, to just add them to your repertoire and continue, this wonderful community that we have of small businesses. The Black population is a little less than 4%, but we are small and mighty. Mighty. So that was incredible to be a part of. And here we are already in the 9th month of the year. This is crazy.
I don't want to know. Pretend it is not, because then you're going to say it's almost October, November, December.
I know.
I don't want to. I'm sure you guys don't want to know that either. But she's probably going to tell you. She just told you. So.
Yeah. Other than that, Karma Box Project, Nevada National Guard. That's a big update for you.
What?
That I'm happy to share.
Please.
Has booked Tabnie Dozier Enterprises for public speaking training workshops.
I love it.
That's a federal client, right?
That's
Department
a big deal.
of Defense. And
congrats.
August, I just turned 1 year old in this entrepreneurial journey. So it has been incredible.
Anything is possible out there, guys. Just know we can accomplish anything.
We can.
And we do need to set our calendars. I want to make sure I put the date. So September 13th to the 17th is when the Reno Air Races are going to be here. Job. And we can't forget that. Yeah. So what I'm wearing, can you take a guess of anything?
That is labels.
Labels. We love labels. So yes. So the top is Alice and Olivia, Baton Tank, and guess what the pants are? It's like, I read it, when I took a photo of it, I couldn't believe it. They look pretty fancy, don't they?
They look fancy, so they can't be Levi's or anything.
Spanx.
Yeah, right.
They're Spanx. I'm wearing Spanx. I really need them, but I didn't know Spanx. I guess they're venturing out.
Great job, Spanx.
And Cynthia Raleigh are my shoes, which I like them. And J. Crew is the jewelry.
Oh, very good.
From Label. So anyway, we've got that done. We got Soak does my nails, and I bit my nails off last week, and I told you the last show, but I'm trying to not bite them, so we're human. But anyway, we have a big show coming up for you, and we're going to take our first break, and Tony will be on set with us, and we're going to hear all the history and the who's who and what's happening of the Reno Air Races. So stay tuned. It's About Town Deb and Tabnie. We'll be right back.
Bridge control, cleared onto the course.
Copy, cleared on the course.
230 at 17 break.
Nice job, guys. Everybody lining it up. Looking perfect. Everybody hold what you got. Gentlemen, you have a race. Have fun.
Bar none, this is the fastest motorsport in the world.
Welcome back. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy with City Talk. I'm so excited to be a Dream Pilot film. Tabnie Dozier, thank you for being here. Looking all stylish. I love it. And you know, we were saying September is already here. Dang it.
Out of nowhere.
But the best part though is the National Reno Air Races are here. So I was to a quote. I missed the quote. I was so excited to get Tony on set. I missed the quote. So here it goes. As soon as we left the ground, I knew I myself had to fly. Amelia Earhart, after her first flight in an airplane, a 10-minute sightseeing trip over Los Angeles in 1920. Wow. That is a long time.
Absolutely incredible.
So I'm excited.
Tony Logoteta, COO. We're going on 60 years of being in Reno.
Indeed.
Just give me your emotions before we dive into the history. How are you feeling?
You know, excited, but also it's a little bittersweet. You know, it's our last year here. We've been here for 60 years. It's been an incredible run here, and we've been part of this community for so long. So happy to, you know, dive in and be part of this community, to give back and have so many long-standing ties here that there's some sadness about leaving, but at the same time, really excited about this year. It's going to be a huge event. It's going to be a huge celebration. It's going to be tons of visitors coming into our town for the event to experience our community, experience our city. And so we're really excited about the event as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, let's start with nostalgia, especially someone like me who's a transplant, only been here a few years. How did the air races get started in this region?
Well, the previous large-scale air races for the warbirds from the unlimited class and that kind of thing had been grounded back in the 40s. After the Cleveland Air Races, there was an accident there that grounded the super fast movers for about 20 years. In the meantime, the Formula One, some of the small planes, Formula Ones and biplanes were able to race, but there was no warbird racing until 1964 when Bill Stead and others decided to start up a new race here in Reno. Those first two in 64 and 65 were at Sky Ranch, out in what is now Spanish Springs, of course.
Wow. I didn't know that. I thought they were always out instead.
No, the first two were out there in the Sky, with Sky Ranch, what's now Spanish Springs, and they moved it over to Stead Airfield at the time, now Stead Airport, in 1966, and it's been there ever since.
Wow. Isn't that incredible?
I just can't believe it's been that long. You guys have been flying high in the skies for a long time.
Yep.
Yes.
There's a 30,000-foot overview,
yes.
Right? Bring us more details about that.
So the event as a whole, from up top, right? It's normally 7 classes of air racing events. So you have from the smaller planes, the Formula Ones and biplanes, which race a 3-mile course, to the T6s and the sport class planes that are not on, I won't call them slow, but they're not as fast as the fast sport class planes, and they all race on a 5-mile course. And then, of course, you have the really fast sport planes. Those ones are kind of the home builts, the experimental aircraft. And the jet class, which is our fastest class. And then, of course, the marquee that's been the huge draw forever, which is the unlimited class, which is your World War II and Korean. Yes, the World War II and Korean era warbirds. And now, of course, we have our newest class, which is the STOL drag class,
So explain that. What is stole drag? What is that?
So that is new. This will be their third year of actual racing out there. And it is where all the others race a closed course pylon. So they're going around the pylon course. And then there's a 3, a 5, and an 8 mile course. The stole drag class is a straight line. So they start at one end. It's a 2,000 foot course. They start from parked. They take off before the start finish line, land past the midpoint line, have to come to a complete stop, turn around, take off before the midpoint line,
Whoa.
come back and land past the start finish line, and whoever comes to a full stop first wins. So it's really neat.
Who
really
thought
quick.
of that? Who thought of that's like totally unusual. I can't even imagine that.
It is a really neat thing to watch, and
Awesome.
it all happens in under a minute. So it's really cool. Yeah, it's
What
really
is the
fun.
length?
2,000 feet.
That's
Yep.
Start and stop
in a minute.
aircraft.
Yep.
In a minute.
Yeah. Twice.
So twice. No, in the 1 minute?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's pretty neat.
There's no way.
I could not do that. That's crazy. But it's such exciting stuff. I'm really excited about that. Now, you had mentioned like all the different kinds of the racing and the different crafts. I know that my dad, we're like mentioning what kind of people are going to come here. I know we're going to have people from all over because this is a really big deal.
Yeah.
59th air race here.
Yeah.
And we don't want to say goodbye.
Right.
But I know that it was really important to my dad. He wanted to go, and it brought back so many memories because he was in the Korean War and he was in World War II. So for him, when I would take him, he literally would just stop. And you could just see him like hold his heart and go, oh.
Yeah.
And he got to talk to all the pilots, and he was a pilot.
Yeah.
So for him, it was so touching. And then you think about little boys. I had my 2 boys, and they were like, yay, all the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So what other kind of, who's going to be attracted to this?
People from all walks of life are attracted to it. It's an international event. It's the only event of its kind in the world. So people come from all over the world to Reno to see this event. There's some other places around the country and 1 or 2 other places in the world where they do like a single class air racing, but no one else does what we do. Multi-class air racing event. So you get all walks of life. I mean, you have ex-military, current military, just anybody you can think of, businessmen, families,
aviation aficionado.
Oh, absolutely.
Of
Lots of
course.
those.
Of course.
Lots of
Been
aviation
wanting to use that
aficionados.
word.
Yeah.
You
And
got
I
that
think
word
it's
out
very
there.
fitting, right? If you
Yeah.
have an interest in aviation, but if you're
Absolutely.
a novice like myself, just the draw, the crowd, and just the spectacle is enough to come out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's how I started. That's how I started working there. I'm not a pilot. I just thought it was an incredibly cool event. I mean, it's airplanes racing. It's NASCAR in the sky, only a
That's
whole lot
right.
faster. So,
So
I always just thought it was cool. So when I had the opportunity to work there, I was really excited about it. But getting into it, you start to feel there's this family atmosphere to it. There's such a unique thing that you start to feel a responsibility for carrying on the tradition. And we've been really proud to be part of this community and carry on that tradition and bring all those people and all that exposure to our community. Yay. It's been really awesome. So it's a neat thing. Yeah, absolutely. People come from all walks of life, all over the world. Our participants range from just private pilots, crop dusters, ex and current military. I mean, one of our winners a few years back in the unlimited class, Jake Salvi, he's F-18 pilot, ex-F-18 pilot in the Navy. Had a conversation afterwards, and he said that was one of the most intense experiences he's ever had, including combat, which just tells you what a really cool and unique experience and event it is.
Well, speak about experience and events. This to our community, this is a legacy.
Yes.
We don't want the legacy to end, but I'm sure there's tons of memories that will be captured on film and on radio, like when people are talking about it. Absolutely. And with you personally, how long have you been involved with the Reno Air Races, and how did you get to where you were as the COO? And what impact has it made in the community?
So I got involved in 2015. That's when I first got hired. It was more along a part-turn kind of a contract situation. I ended up series of events. I ended up full-time within a few months and then ended up in the COO role on a temporary basis in 2017 in the spring. And then it was made permanent by the end of that year. And I've stayed in that position since. And it's been quite the blessing. I'm also on the board now. I've been there since I think 18, if I remember correctly. And it's been awesome. But over the course of the years, the attendance, we have a lot of local attendance, of course. There's a big draw here, but what makes it so special for our community is all the people that it draws from out of town. I mean, our attendance is typically around 65% out of town visitors, which is huge for a special event. So all that economic impact that comes from that, in 2019 was our last survey we did, and it came in at just over 100 million of total economic impact, and that was done by UNR, and that is because all they look at is those out of town visitors, and that's just the out of town visitors, unique individuals, who came only to see our event. Yeah. So in addition to all the cultural stuff and all the exposure and media, partnerships with Microsoft Flight Simulator that just bring billions of eyeballs to our community, there's also that direct economic impact that comes from it too.
Incredible.
It's incredible. It's almost time for our first break. Before we go to it, I have one more quote. I don't want to miss this one. So the quote is, even before the old Taylor craft had reached 300 feet, I recognized that the sky would be my home. I tumbled out of the airplane with stars in my eyes. Geraldine Jerry Cobb regards her first flight, piloted by her father when she was 12 years old. It just, to me, that just seems 12 years old to be on your first flight, and then just that memory, and it's just incredible. We're just so lucky to have that here. So we're going to take a break. Oh, before the break, let's do a quick cheers. We didn't get that there. So what are we cheersing to, Mr. Tony?
60 years in Reno, please.
Cheers, 60 years in Reno.
Cheers. Cheers.
I gotta go. I know. There we go. Okay, take a sip. Otherwise, it's not a real cheers. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to City Talk with About Town Deb and Tabnie. Welcome back. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy with City Talk, Dream Pilot Films, Spark, Nevada. Tabnie on set, so happy, and what a great topic, the Reno Air Races. Tony, thank you for being here and sharing your history. So speaking about history, before we continue on about pilots and planes, tell us a little bit about this beautiful plane we have sitting here.
So what we have here is a little model of Strega. Strega is,
this for us,
I believe, the most winningest unlimited racer in our history. It is autographed by both Tiger DeStefani and Stephen Hinton. Now, there's two Steve Hintons in our organization. Steve Hinton, the father, he's a two-time unlimited winner, and he has been our pace pilot for a long, long time.
So what is a pace pilot? I mean, a lot of people may not know.
Yeah, so the pace pilot is the one who leads them around, gets them on the course safely, and then he pulls up, ladies and gentlemen, we have a race.
Yeah.
And that's Steve. And then he watches over him, he circles and makes sure that everybody's good and helps anybody that needs help. That kind of
so there's somebody above while they're racing?
Yeah, in some of the classes, not everyone.
I did not know that.
Yes, absolutely. So this is Strega. It is autographed by those two gentlemen who have each won individually 7 unlimited gold championships at our event. So that's 2 out of the 3 winningest.
Pros, to say the least.
Oh, yeah. And what's really exciting is actually that Stephen will be back racing this year in Bardall Special, which was here in 1964 at our very first racing event. And interesting history there is back in 1964, he was actually the fastest plane in the finale for the unlimited gold race, but they were on a point system back then. So because he had cut a pylon, I believe it was earlier in the week, he ended up coming in second. He didn't actually win it. So it's coming back. Stephen Hinton's going to race it. It's going to be a lot of fun to have.
He's going to be ready.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an interesting race this year for sure.
Well, we're talking about the people, and you kind of alluded to it in the previous segment about who the people are, who these pilots are. I thought it was specifically dedicated to military experience, but that's not always the case.
No, it's not. They come from all walks of life. I mean, there's private pilots and, current and ex-military, of course. There's lots of airline pilots that fly in the event. They come from all over. Yeah. Crop dusters and You name it.
Yeah.
You name it. Yeah.
Some people follow the pilots,
Yeah.
right? They might, especially if women pilots would be of interest to me. Talk about, though, the planes. The planes are followed. For people who know their stuff, they take a lot of interest in the beauty of the aircrafts themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of these planes, you know, especially in that unlimited class, and also, I mean, in the T6 class, the T6 class is trainers from World War II. They've been around forever as well. And the ones that people would fly before they got in a Mustang to go and actually fight, right? So, and then the unlimited class is all Korean and World War II era actual fighter planes, the P-51s and Bearcats and Hawker Sea Furies and all kinds of stuff that was around back then. So really neat stuff. And then sport class is all built in garage, potentially home built stuff, experimental aircraft.
That's kind of scary to think that you built it in your garage. And so who's the test pilot? No, I'm serious.
They go through things.
I mean, who's the test pilot when they build them? Are they usually their own test pilot?
They go through all the qualifications and the tests,
scary.
and FAA certifications and everything.
Wow.
Tony said they had the paperwork. Okay,
Thank you.
They do, yes.
Somebody stamped it officially okay to fly.
They're not building a go-kart.
I know that's right.
Kind of the way you said it, it was like, oh, I'm just going to build this in my garage and get up in the air. No, it takes more than that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It takes a lot for these. That's pretty cool.
For you, for us, for racing the final flag at Reno. Of course, our viewers can go to airrace.org. When you think about that slogan, one of those, right, that touches your heart.
It just makes me like
give us your
tear up a
emotions.
little bit.
It's tough. As I've mentioned before, what we've been able to do and our connection to this community, it's run so deep. So it's kind of bringing back or bringing up that connection and being able to do everything in a huge way one more time here in Reno this year. So the final flag, while disappointing, again, we're focusing on the good that we can do in the community this year. We love this community. We're part of this community. We never wanted to leave this community.
Of course.
I
Who
mean,
does?
We've stated publicly numerous times we wanted to see our 100th anniversary year, but it wasn't in the cards. So we're going to make the best of what we have and have a great year this year as we look towards the next location.
So speaking about the good in the community, I know there's scholarships.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw that out. It was in my internet search. So
Absolutely.
that's really important for our youth. So tell us about that.
It is. It's very important. So it was kind of a natural extension of what we've done with our education program over the years. So through our STEM education zone on site and some of the stuff that we support throughout the year, we've been supporting STEM education and aviation education through NVBAA and GRAD in Nevada. And they've been wonderful partners. We've been able to bring 6,000 to 7,000 kids out typically every year during race week, so they can experience not only the event, but actual aviation and STEM education. And some of my favorite photos from our photographers at the end of the event are the ones of the kids looking up in the sky and watching the planes, and you just melt when you see those pictures. It's just incredible. So kind of grown out of that was this, eventually we wanted to get to this scholarship point. And so in 2021, Ray Foundation partnered with us and gave us a grant to help start our first scholarship program. So we were able to award 10 scholarships to local young adults in 2022 was the first round of training. And then another 10 that are going through training now in 2023. We're going to continue the program and we're working towards growing it, possibly adding the mechanic type stuff, A&P scholarships, and increasing the number at some point. So we're doing everything we can to keep that going. Reno Air Racing Association is a 501c3 nonprofit. We are a Nevada Corp, and we plan to keep going in this mode right now. So it's been really cool, and you see these young adults, like I said, get through all their training and they get their pilot's license and they've got that smile and they're so excited, to be able to make a dream come true like that, because it is not cheap. I mean, you're talking.
I think of the cost.
Yeah, and these are $10,000 scholarships that each of them is receiving, and in some cases that doesn't even quite get them all the way across the finish line, but it gets almost all of it done. And I know that's a tough number to come up with if you don't have some help. Yeah. So we're happy to help.
I'm going to take us on a little side trip as it is. Yeah. So behind the scenes, we see the planes go, we see the people cheering. We know there's hundreds of volunteers, and we're talking volunteers. They're out there, they're working, and they've been volunteers for years and years and years. So is there like a behind the scenes fact or tidbit that you can share that nobody knows? Like what happens behind the scenes? Like, is there anything, a faux pas or like losing something?
You know, I'm trying to think behind the scenes situation directly. What's incredible is we have a 12-person board. We have a 9-person staff, only a few full-timers that work year round to make this event happen. But we have over 1,200 volunteers to make it happen. I think that's the piece that people don't understand is it takes over 1,200 people to make this event happen. Without them, there's no way. There's just no way. I mean, the way costs are these days. You're right. There's no way without that volunteer workforce. And they have such incredible passion. We talked about the visitors that come from around the world. So do the volunteers. They're people that take their 2-week vacations from their jobs for the year to come and work their tails off at our event to make sure that this thing goes on. And that's that passion and that, again, that family atmosphere. We call it the September family or the Air Race family. And it's a pretty incredible group. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Special.
You know, we have a few more questions, but I think it's time for break already. So we're going to continue on with the questions. I am going to do one more quote and then we're going to take a break. We come back. We have a few more questions and we have some fun planned. Right. I'm going to quiz you.
Sounds good.
Which he's probably going to know. He's going to
ace it.
I know, but you don't. Oh, I didn't.
You don't put the answer. So,
Georgia, I have the answers somewhere. Hopefully she saw the paper I printed. Otherwise, I'm going to remember the answers. Yeah. That'll be, well, hopefully you're going to.
That's what commercial breaks are for.
That's what commercial breaks are for. So here we go. This actually goes good. We were talking about building airplanes. This is pretty scary. Okay, here we go. To invent an airplane is nothing. To build one is something. To fly is everything. And I think that I did not know you were going to say that because I had asked you during this segment. So that happens all the time on City Talk. We're going to take a break and I'll be right back. AboutTownDeb, Tabnie, Tony on City Talk. We'll be right back.
Tina, the Tina Turner Musical. Tina Turner's triumphant story is live on stage in the mega hit musical direct from Broadway. Prepare to be ecstatically blown away. September 26th through October 1st at Pioneer Center. On sale now at pioneercenter.com.
Welcome back to AboutTownDeb with City Talk. City Talk with AboutTownDeb. Debbie McCarthy. Get all that in there. Tabnie. Tony, we are back again. We're learning so much today, like tons of information. And Tabnie, I'm so glad you're here because to you, this is a fairly new event.
Correct.
So I'm sure you might have some other questions you might want to ask as well. So
I don't think a lot of people know that it is a 501c3.
I did not.
The philanthropic aspect of it. You know, scholarships, STEM. I love that we spent time on that. So I think of, okay, the pilots are in the sky and the fans are in the stands. Is there ever any type of interaction that goes on, you know, where people can meet or talk to these people, to the pilots, mechanics?
Absolutely. I mean, across the board, the pilots, everybody, they're all very, very humble, very personable, and they love the fans. They know how important it all is, you know. And a lot of these fans, they've been coming their whole life. They've got generations that are coming. So they, you know, you can walk up right in front of the pits when you're in the pits. And you can get right, 10 feet from the planes. And you can talk to the crew and you can talk to the pilots.
Wow.
And then also we have pilots that go out into the crowd and they'll just walk up into the grandstand and sign autographs and sign shirts and talk to people. We have a group of fans called Section 3.
Okay.
There are fanatics. They're awesome.
They're fanatics.
They take up a big old section of our general admission grandstand. They all wear orange shirts, and our pilots love to go up there and sign autographs up there. It's a really, really neat area, and it's a really neat interaction between them.
That is another great tip that I did not know. I mean, you know, you can bring the kids and they're going to have a great time, but to be able to talk to the person who was just in the sky, I mean, you know, for someone young or young at heart that has passion or desire, that kind of interaction is really priceless, huh? Absolutely. I mean, if somebody's looking at that kind of, especially if they're inspired into aviation, and you can talk to military pilots and airline pilots, and then I didn't even mention earlier, I mean, we've had astronauts that
who?
So Hoot Gibson, who was our unlimited gold winner in Strega in 2015.
Oh my gosh.
And Kurt Brown, who's raced Sawbones a number of times out there. He hasn't been in a few years, but yeah, there's been a couple astronauts that race in the unlimited class out there.
Astronauts.
Maybe there'll be one this year. I'm going this year. Maybe there'll be one. That would be like, hello, it's Deb.
Yeah.
I heard you were going to be here.
How is space?
How is space? What was it like up there?
What's the rent like in space?
What's the rent like?
It's high down here.
So it's getting close to the event. What can we expect? Like what's a typical day at the air races for a family? Like, you get up, what time do you get up? You got to be there early. Tell me about what a typical day is like.
So our race day starts at 8 in the morning, ends around 5.
It's a long day.
It definitely gets to be some pretty long days some days. Somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30 it'll end. We race the Formula Ones and the biplanes in the morning. Usually I should talk to you real quick.
Yeah.
Sadly, the biplanes won't be here this year. There was a litigation issue and it's all settled now, and that's good. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them through the approval process in time for them to race this year. So sadly, one of the classes that was here in the very first year will not be able to race in the last year. But we still have record registration for racer planes this year, even without that class. So the other 6 will be racing. So typically in the morning, you'll see the biplanes and the Stoll Drag and some of the T6s and the sport and medallion heats. And then as we get into the afternoon, because obviously we know we're all in Reno, it's a little windy here in the afternoons typically. So that's when the bigger, faster, heavier planes start to race more in the afternoon. You'll see the Unlimiteds and the Jets and the faster sports racing in the afternoon. We have several civilian performers. Jim Pites does races in an aerobatic Bonanza. We'll have the Gamebird GB1, which is a little aerobatic plane that does the flips and all the crazy stuff. We'll have a plane.
I've been in that one.
You have?
Oh, that's fun.
I wonder, how did you get in there?
Moved here,
Awesome.
they allowed news anchors
Yeah.
when I was in local news with the pilot behind, but he was like, I'm going to take my hands off and you go. And I flipped this up full 360, baby. Incredible.
That is cool.
One of the most exhilarating feelings in life.
Really
The hot air balloon is special when you go up that way.
This would top anything.
Are you kidding? It was spectacular.
Absolutely.
So that I couldn't think of, and I was like, when he says it, I'm sure I will remember. That was 2018, my first couple months, my first 90 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great way to welcome into Reno.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
So there's a plane called the Thunderbird.
Yeah.
It's a P-51. It's not the Thunderbird. It's not the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, but it's an actual P-51 called the Thunderbird. It is a historical racer. It won the Bendix race in 1949. It's been redone. It's all put together. It's gorgeous, blue and yellow, and it's going to be here. It's going to be performing and on site for people to see. It's pretty amazing. And then, of course, we always have our military performers. We're, one kind of part of our mission is to honor our military. So that's a big part of it. We have Friday of Race Week, September 15th this year.
Okay. So
is Military Appreciation Day.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's free for all current and former military members to come in and experience the races on Friday. As far as the performances go, we'll have the A-10 coming out. They'll be practicing Thursday and Friday, performing in full on Saturday and Sunday of race week, along with the Heritage Flight. We'll also have the F-18 Hornets out. They'll be same days. They'll be practicing on Thursday, Friday, doing a full performance with the Legacy Flight on the weekend. The Heritage and Legacy Flights, that's where they take the jets and then they put them up there with an older previous era fighter as well. And there's few dry eyes in the house when they do that. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
So special.
Now, parking, I mean, I know it's a silly question, but people like to know there's plenty of parking. Is it that kind of stuff? And there's food and there's water and beverages. All of that is there.
Yeah. So it's all there. We're going to be heavily attended this year, which is excellent.
Yeah.
We are strongly suggesting alternative transportation.
Okay.
You're going to be more comfortable if you there's an Amador shuttle site on our link on our website. There's RTC, you can do ride shares. There's all kinds of things you can do. There's shuttles offered in other ways as well. So suggest that people check that out. But we also have parking. If, go online and check it out at airrace.org if you want to see what's available. Yeah. But it's going to be awesome. There's food. We have our bars set up. So.
And then memorabilia, people can shop too.
I'm sure there's T-shirts and hats, because this is like, you definitely want to get a t-shirt or a hat this year and you want to make sure somebody signs it. So get up there in with those orange t-shirts, say, sign it. I just think it's really great. So I'm going to throw some questions out at you.
Here we go.
So here we go. You're going to know this one. What year did the first, this is too easy. This is for Tabnie.
Okay.
What year did the first official Reno National Championship air race take place?
My guess is B. So the choices are 1964, 1953, 1971, 1980. I'm going to guess B, 1953.
You're right.
Okay, great.
Okay. Which famous pilot is known for establishing the Reno Air Races in 1964? Chuck Yeager, Jimmy Doolittle, Bill Stead, Amelia Earhart. These are too easy. Go ahead,
Tony.
Bill Stead.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Okay. This one is for Tabnie. Okay. This is Tabnie's. What type of aircraft are commonly seen participating in the Reno Air Races? Hot air balloons, gliders, vintage warbirds, commercial airliners.
Oh, I know it's between B and C, gliders or vintage warbirds. My guess is gliders.
Not quite.
No.
Warbirds.
Almost. So vintage warbirds.
I feel better than I'm thinking.
I knew there were no Boeing 737s. You ever give me some credit?
If you had a hot air balloon, it might get popped up there.
Right. Okay. It might fly over, and a hot air balloon would not make it. But the answer is warbirds.
Yes,
so
warbirds.
I have one more for you guys. Let's see. We'll see who's going to get this one. You're going to know. Tony's like, I should have I don't know. I should have had Molly give me some questions. The fastest category of aircraft in the Reno Air Races are the speed racers, jet class, unlimited class, aerobatic masters.
Is this for me?
My guess is
let's have Tabnie first.
B, jet class.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner.
It's almost time for this break. When we come back, we have a prize.
Okay.
Tabnie was it a tie?
I'm going to take the prize because Tony is the pro.
Well, you know what? I actually have two prizes, good. So you
don't mind.
So you each will be able to get a prize. So we are going to take one more break and then we're going to come back and do our final thank yous. But one more quote: "To most people, the sky is the limit. To those who love aviation, the sky is home."
Beautiful.
And to me, that we are home on set here with you, and we cannot wait to be there and to experience this amazing experience. We're going to take our final break. We'll be right back. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, Tabnie, and Tony will be right back. Welcome back. It's About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy with City Talk. Again, at Dream Pilot Films. Tabnie, Tony, we're so excited. And I'm just going to get these sponsors done because without them, you wouldn't be sitting here. So we want to thank them. Surratt Law Practice. Kim has been by my side since day one. Design on Edge. And we want to thank Dream Pilot Films, Caliber Hair and Makeup. I have Soak Spa. I have Dorinda's Chocolate, Dulce Vita Spa, United Hair Products. There's so many people. DigiPrint. And of course, Grandma B, my mom,
labels.
Yes, we love our labels. So I'm really grateful that our community does step up. And as with all of our events, we have lots of events happening in Reno, but the air races really do, like, you look up in the sky and you just, like, your heart just goes, wow. And I live in the Northwest now, and when they do some practices, all of a sudden you hear this, I'm like, I look, everybody, like everybody in the cul-de-sac looks out, oh, they're flying over. So it's something where even if you aren't able to go, I know that people will go out in the Stead area, and there's places where you could sit and you could watch. And like my cousin Georgia usually has an air race party with her family. She lives out there, and we get a barbecue and everybody gets their lawn chairs out, and you can watch them. So really it is available. But if you aren't able to live that close and you want to go, how do we get tickets? What kind of tickets are left? And tell us about that.
Yeah, so we still have lots of reserved grandstand tickets. That is center stage, best seat in the house, up high, right in front of home pylon, which is the finish line, right in the middle of that iconic Reno, blue and white with the red Reno on it, home pylon. Center stage on that, so there's lots of those left. We have general admission tickets left. We have pit passes, which...
Tell us about the pit passes. That's a big deal. It
is. So the pits are where you can get in, you can get up close to the planes, you can talk to the pilots, you can talk to the crew. I mean, you can get right there. We have the Formula Ones and some of the sports will be in our hangar, and there's not even ropes up there for the most part. You're within feet of the planes, and everybody's there. You can talk to them. It's really neat. And on the other side for the general admission and the reserved grandstand seats, over there is also, that's where our military static display is. So that's where
what is that? Static display?
Yeah, so that's military aircraft that we bring in. They come in from around the country. They just park for people to check out. They open up the big ones, the C-130s and the C-17s, cool. Big helicopters. You can walk in, take the kids inside. They can see it from the inside. You can realize, wow, they can fit a tank in this thing. This is ridiculous. You know, there's some big planes out there. So they'll have some fighters out there. So it's a really neat display. We'll also have a heritage display, which is older aircraft that'll be out. Wow. So really classically restored aircraft. And so that's a really neat thing to see as well. So there's lots to see for everybody, for sure.
But we need to get your tickets now.
Yes, go to airrace.org. Mm-hmm. That's the place to get the tickets.
Beautiful.
Wow, I'm so excited. So our skies are going to be buzzing very soon. So keep your eyes up in the sky, and we're going to can't wait to get our tickets. And you guys, it's a must. If you have not been to the Reno Air Races, this is your chance. If you're local. If you're flying into town, please make your reservations early, because the town is going to be hopping, and we have a lot of local restaurants and a lot of local hotels. So please, when you do come here, and even if you're out and about after the air races, support our local community, support your local community. We really are about that with City Talk. We really love bringing people together. And I wanted to ask you personally, Tony, is there something that really warms your heart about the Reno Air Races that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, it's the Air Race family. You know, I kind of mentioned I came in out of a sort of a awe and wonder for the event, and like how cool it is to have something so neat in our community, not really having a clue of just how unique it was or what that family atmosphere of it was. But once I was inside of it, and you start to see the inner workings, and from staff to board to pilots to volunteers to fans, how everybody comes together and everyone cares for each other and has this sort of just desire and this just total commitment and camaraderie to making this thing work and keeping it going. That's really what keeps you there and just makes you so excited to be a part of it. So that's really the heart draw for me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
And what are you looking forward to, Tabnie?
I think for me, learning about the global impact as a transplant, I thought, okay, this is a Reno staple. This is something that Reno puts on, that, you know, locals, maybe next door in California. But when you spoke about the global impact, people travel all around the world. Volunteers use their PTO because they believe in it. So cool. It really just recognized, you know, it resonates with me how special it is beyond our community. We open our doors, like you say, support our businesses, support, you know, our community, but we open the doors to the world for this for 6 decades. So that's what's incredible to me. Being that you are a 501c3, can people, maybe they have plans or they're going out of town, can they still donate to the efforts of scholarships and all that, the operations of the Reno Air Races?
Oh, absolutely. So they're at our homepage, the airrace.org. There's a donate button on there with all the other buttons at the top of the page. It'll take you to our donation site. And if you want it to go to certain, like if you want it to specifically go to scholarships, there's a drop down you can select. If you want it to just go to preserving the event, that's fine. Just let it go to the general, but there's some other options, STEM program and military and all that kind of stuff.
I felt it was important to plug that as well.
No, we love our nonprofits. That's a big deal. We're so grateful for you, Tony, to take time out of, this is a busy time for you right now, but you guys are family. You're part of our community. And I want to give a shout out to Marilyn Dash.
Yeah.
She is a good friend of my cousin George's and mine. And she is, when you say family for the Reno Air Races, it's her family.
Absolutely.
And she is like, wears it like a badge of honor. When she talks about the Reno Air Races, she just glows.
Oh, yeah.
So I know there's many volunteers out there that are glowing. We want to thank you for being there. And I'm going to give you both a prize because you both deserve it. So Dorinda's Chocolates. This is their milk chocolate coffee tasting bar. And it is yummy.
Sounds fun.
If
Thank
you
you
can
so
pass
much.
one down to Tabnie.
Thank you, my
And
fellow
you
quiz
get one.
cohort.
Yes,
Your quiz
absolutely.
cohort. So we
Thank
are
you.
just very grateful that you are here today. Tabnie, I'm grateful for you. If you want to be a part of AboutTownDeb, you can message me AboutTownDeb, go to the website. We are always looking for sponsors, advertisers, product placement, Deb's picks. We love to go out. We love to go highlight your business. So one final quote, and then when we're done, remember, together we're one heart. Remember, the Reno Air Races are for you, for us, for racing, the final flag at Reno. So join us for the last championship air races, September 13th to the 17th, 2023. And let's fly high, everybody. See you next week.